a big honor for me as a Syrian citizen in this critical time of our history in Syria, where we have been in this peaceful revolution for more than 6 months. And after all these sacrifices, all these victims of the regime who are fighting for their freedom, for truth, for human rights, it's a big honor for every one of them to get this award in the name of Anna, which is a symbol of truth and the human rights and the freedom. So it means a lot for all of us. It's not individual thing for me. In 2004, I started to write about the human rights, to write about reports, articles, so on. It was very important that you move the human rights situation from reports and numbers to the human side, to show the human side of the violations for those victims who we usually talk about them as numbers, not more than that. So I needed to show those people they have families, they have dreams, they have this deep pain, they live with that pain daily. That's what pushed me to write about those people. Youth leaders from the Raya, it's in the suburbs of Damascus, they decided to react to the violence of the regime with giving back flowers and water to the soldiers and the security who were killing them, actually. Among those, I want especially to name Riyad Matar and Yahya Shurbaji, who got arrested in September 6th. And actually, Riyad, he was the one who came out with this idea of the flower and water. And they used in the protest to put the water and the flowers on the ground as a line between them and the soldiers, and start chanting that we are your people, we shouldn't kill each other, we are brothers, and something like that. Riyad got the sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Riyad got arrested at September 6th with Yahya Ashurbaji. He is one of my best friends, also Yahya. And 3 days after that, in the security brought Riyad's body. He was killed under torture. The body and the hands which used to give the flowers and the water to those soldiers and security were crushed. He got killed in very brutal way, actually. And we still very worried for sure about Yahya's life. We don't know anything about him yet. We heard that he was in the hospital also in very critical situation. Until this moment, we don't know anything about him. Um, it happens all the time, not only with me, it happens with all activists. They punish the activists, not only to punish them, they also punish their families. It happens all the time. About me, they arrested my husband. He is also an activist. They also arrested his brother, who has nothing to do with anything. They kept them in the Air Force security branch. Um, my brother-in-law for about 2 months, and my husband for about 3 months. The majority of their detention was in solitary, subject to different kind of torture and threatening and all kind um, of this. I want to focus that on that. It's happening every day with everybody. It's not nothing only with me. and it's the most important case now is Zainab Al-Husni, 19 years old, from Hamas, who she was kidnapped by the security and Shabiha. She was killed in very brutal way. Her head was cut, her hands and legs were cut, and she was killed in not, nobody can imagine the way she was killed in. So they are trying to send these messages. If for the activists, if you don't stop by yourself, we will not stop the punishment in you. We will use all methods we can to stop this movement by killing your members' families, by doing anything. Now they are starting a new step of their brutally actually. We have two choices: to hide or to get to prison. So it's to have more time to continue what we are doing, to have more chance to do what we want to do during this revolution. We should choose to hide until they can find us. At the end, we know that everybody will get arrested at the end, but we are trying now to do what we can in this time until we get arrested. When Syrian people started their revolution, they started it by their own. They didn't ask for any help. They didn't ask for any kind of support, and they continued in spite of all this violence coming against them. But it's now it's over all our limits now. It's the killing, the daily killing, the daily violence against people. I think the world should do something. Some countries have interest in the region. They don't want their interest to be confused if any kind of a change happens. I just want to tell them the change has started. It won't stop anymore until the people who have been living under repression get all the rights and the freedoms. Until this moment, the international society doesn't deal seriously with what is going on in Syria. They are still have this illusion that this revolution will stop one moment and everything will be back again before 15 March. That will not happen after all these victims, after all this suffer and sacrifices. That will not happen. Our revolution is continuing, and you, as an international society, have a duty towards Syrian people. We are member in the UN. We have the UN must do something to Syrian people who got killed daily. People who are losing their beloved people daily, who are subjecting to all this repression, to all this pain daily. Who can deal with all this pain daily and continue to keep on peacefully in this way and keep on it, the whole world, besides the regime, the whole world by its silence on what's going on, helping the regime to lead the country to sectarian problems or civil conflict inside. This should be end. The international society should deal seriously what's going on in Syria to help those people, those wonderful people of Syria who kept peacefully all this time to reach their dreams as soon as possible. Syrian people amazed the whole world, I think. Until this moment, daily, we have dozens of thousands of people went to street everywhere around the country to protest peacefully, to chanting freedom, freedom, peacefully, peacefully, to say that they want to live in freedom, in dignity, and they Until this moment, they refuse to react to the violence of the regime with any kind of violence, of similar violence. More than 3,000 people, including children, women, girls, got killed by the regime during the last 6 months. Uh, Cities are raided daily. Dozens of thousands got arrested, and they are still continuing the arrest campaign daily. In spite of all this violence against people, in spite of all this, it's criminal against humanity, what is committing against Syrian people. In spite of all of that, they are continuing. Maybe it's Syrian revolution is the last revolution in the world which has support from anybody, from the international society, from the Arab world. But in spite of all of that, they are continuing until this moment, and they are saying we will not stop until we reach our aims, which is free new Syria.